Back at it with the Chevy LS swaps today. If we unhook the torque converter bolts and the bell housing bolts, this motor should come out. Everything else is off of it, everything else is ready to come out. We had to take some weekend time with the family, and some things came up first thing this morning, so middle of the day, getting started on Monday, but we should be able to, I keep saying we, I'm gonna have to look, I mean, where's the we at? There's no one here but me, like always. So anyway, as I was saying, get these bolts out, and this thing should be ready to come out. These bolts are gonna be a pain in the butt to get out, as I talked about it in the last video, so I guess there's nothing to do but just to get after it. This thing is not Fat Man approved. Size in my hand. Pretty sure this is not even. Let's see here now. And of course, the freaking motor's gonna turn. This is one of the problems working by yourself. Oh. Well, that and trying to get up. Here's one of the issues when you work alone. I'm trying to get the torque converter bolts out, but the motor's trying to rotate over while I'm doing it. Well, I can't stand out here and hold the crank and try to break those bolts loose. So I gotta come up with some ingenious way to hold everything and turn a 5-minute job into an all-day job. Whereas if I had any help at all from anyone, just somebody to stand here and hold a ratchet. If I had that much help, this would be a 5-minute job. But since I don't have that much help, we're just going to have to figure out some ingenious way to come up with to hold this thing. Okay, let's see if there's some way I can do this around here. Like this. I'll try to tie this around the core support here to hold this. See if that'll work. I think it's in the right direction. We'll know in a minute. It's about the best idea I've got. Need an extra set of hands. Still move a little. It needs to go. I'm thoroughly weirded out and confused right now. That's a lot of work for one bolt. Oh, only 3 more to go now. Where's my hat? You guys that work alone get what I'm saying when I say this job is a pain in the ass. It's not a pain in the ass because it's a difficult job. It's a pain in the ass because doing it by yourself makes it a difficult job. We spent that whole time, we got 1 bolt out. So now I gotta come up here, rotate the engine a little bit, get under it. Hopefully I rotated enough, because not, then I'm gonna come back out, rotate a little more, get under it, look, make sure I'm in line. If not, come back out, rotate a little more, get back under it, finally get in line. Then I'm gonna come out, redo my little ratchet strap combobulation here with the pull bar so that I can hold the engine to break the second bolt loose, and repeat and repeat. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. I don't think you need to see all of it. So, finally got those torque converter bolts out, the 3 of them that were there. But the more I work on this truck, the more I do believe this engine's been out of this truck before. I may be wrong, but let me throw at you the evidence. Let me present you with the evidence and you draw your own conclusion. Here's what I've got. Let me set this down right here. So here's what I've got. As we started, I have found, you can go back to another video, and I believe it was 4 exhaust manifold bolts that were broken off. There was something else that I seen that I thought was evidence that I don't remember now. But now as I'm undoing the bell housing bolts, there's 2 bolts missing out of the bell housing. Just missing, wasn't there. So I'm thinking, since there was exhaust manifold bolts broke off, it means exhaust manifold on both sides. There was 4 total. There was 3 on one side and 1 on the other side that were broken off. So the manifolds have been off this truck before. And seeing as how there's 2 bell housing bolts that are missing, just not there, that leads me to believe somebody's been in there before. So with the manifolds being off and the bell housing bolts being missing, excuse me, I'm drawing the conclusion that this is not the engine that came in this truck. Which brings a few questions to mind, none of which actually matter for this job, but just the investigative side of me here. Why? Why was the engine pulled out? Was a good engine pulled out to put in something else and just a runner put in this so it could move around? Has it had a blown engine in the past and somebody swapped it out? Is the mileage, well, we know it, if the motor's been swapped, then we know the mileage on the dash is not correct. Is this motor a higher miles motor or is it a lower miles motor? I think that's a question that probably could not be answered. But yeah, there's some compounding evidence here that's adding up. One of the things that I found weird was that 4 manifold bolts was broken off, but yet the ones that weren't broken off, you just barely bump them and they break light loose. They were barely over finger tight. They were tight, but just barely over. I mean, it just took a little bump with a wrench and then they would spin out with your fingers. Same thing with bell housing bolts. The bell housing bolts are tight, but you crack them with a wrench, and as soon as they crack, you can spin them out with your fingers. Almost as if somebody has done this before. Don't know, we may never know. It's just very interesting. That's all I can say. It's very interesting. Oh, I remember what the other thing was. The petcock was broken off on the radiator and epoxied over. First I was thinking maybe somebody drained it for the winter and or drained it to put, you know, a new water pump. Anything could have been the reason it was drained. But adding up the manifolds and the bell housings, I think it was broke draining the water to remove it, and then when they put it back in, they just epoxied over it. Would be my hypothesis here. It's all guesswork. There's no way to prove one way or the other. But if I was a gambling man, which I'm not really, but if I was a gambling man, I would almost bet money that this is not the motor this truck was born with. Don't know what that has to do with what we're doing, just an interesting fact. Let's get back to it. I've got one bell housing bolt left. She's been a little bit of a booger, and once we get it out, and it's not been a booger because it's tight, it's been a booger because I have Sasquatch hands. Look at my hands as big as my face, and trying to get them in a space that's this big, and I'm trying to do one of these numbers to work the bolt. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I got one bolt that's a booger, but once I get her cracked loose, it'll be just like the others and it'll come right out. So then the motor will be ready to remove from the truck, and I guess we'll get a better look at what we have or don't have. On today's episode of What Are People Thinking, I don't know if I can get the camera in there so you can see it. You're not gonna be able to see it. I decided to give myself a treat and save the motor mount bolts to last. Literally, that's it. Smashed my finger there a minute ago too. So literally, it's the motor mount bolt on this side and that side. That's it. That's all that's holding this motor in there, and it's ready to come out. Be the simplest job in the world. Zip, bolt up, zoop, motor out. We're done. Until the evidence once again mounts. Let me turn this radio off before I get a copyright violation. Once again, the evidence mounts that this engine is not the engine that came in this truck, or it has been out for some reason. Now, it could still be the original engine. Somebody's just taken it out and done something to it. But this is the final peg in the board for me. There is about 762,483 pounds of Loctite, red Loctite, on these engine bolts, on these motor mount bolts. What? There is so much red Loctite on these engine mount bolts. They look like they were made by Craftsman. You know what I'm saying? I have not seen this before, ever. I've seen people put a dab of Loctite on bolts. Personally, I don't think a motor mount bolt needs any Loctite. But I've seen people put a dab of Loctite on it. And usually a good and it's out of there. But I have never seen so much Loctite on a bolt before that you can't even distinguish the threads on it. And I have been fighting one motor mount bolt for the last 5 or 10 minutes. The problem is where it is, the exhaust manifold, which is already unbolted from the engine, so I can move it out and back. But the exhaust manifold, the turn down on it is right over it. So I got to have a little swivel to get in here and a swivel to get back around and all. So I got 2 little swivel joints in there, and it's bending my swivel joints. It's in there. So unfortunately, now this 30-second job is going to eat up the rest of the day, because it appears that I'm going to have to undo the exhaust on this thing, pull the exhaust manifolds out, just to get a straight shot on these motor mount bolts, and probably hook the air impact to it and hit her with all the ugga duggas and try to back it out. Back it out or break it off. Either one, it's got to come out of there. If it breaks off, at least we can drill it and put another bolt in. But that just adds more work to the process. So now it's going to be, I'm going to have to get donut gaskets and fix the exhaust and just more stuff to the project that was never planned on being done. So this is just a gift that keeps on giving. It's like Christmas. I just keep opening new presents. It's the worst Christmas ever. What the? Now I have this compilement of issues. I've got to do all that, and I need my Ugga Dugga to do it all. I have a gas-powered air compressor. It's a long story. But I gotta go get gas for it because I ran out of gas the last time I used it. Of course I did. It's already about 4 o'clock, close to 4 o'clock. Now I gotta go to the store and get gas, and I'm smashed my fingers pretty good there. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, that was a pretty good picture of it. I smashed my fingers there pretty good a minute ago when I was fighting this epic battle of the Loctite was on sale. And so, yeah, there's a... It's just something about me and quick jobs. Anytime somebody tells me that, oh, this is a quick job, I automatically know I'm getting screwed. So here's the game plan. Or let me catch you up first. This truck's been here for a while, longer than it should have. And it's been one of those that's set in the background, and I've tinkered with it a little on and off. And the time got here to where I needed to get it done. Really wanted to be home before Thanksgiving. I really wanted to be home this weekend, but I really wanted to be home before Thanksgiving. But it really was the goal for it to be out of here and gone by this weekend. Even if I drive it myself to its home and drop it off, the plan was for it to be out of here this weekend. Now, this is a setback. Today was supposed to be the last day of me tinkering with it, getting the motor out, getting a new motor in and all that. Well, obviously that's not the case now. Tomorrow I already have an appointment set up. I guess you'd call it an appointment. I have a date set up to pick up another car, a parts car. Don't get all excited. It's just a parts car. But this has been a deal that's been made we've been working on this deal for almost a month, and now it's finally worked out. So the time is right for them. The time is right for me. The financial situation's right. Everything, all the stars in line and moon and all that blah, 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 blah. All that stuff that people say. All that has finally happened, and I can get it tomorrow. That means I lose a day on this, which means now that puts me into Wednesday finishing getting this motor out. Thursday getting a new one put in, buttoned up, and then maybe through the weekend I'll be working on wiring and fuel systems and up and running and stuff like that throughout the weekend. So it's already pushed into next week now. So, and then that weekend is our last race of the season at the Shadyside. So I only have a couple of days that week to tinker with it. So my schedule is just so overwhelming this time of the year. After November, after about the middle of November, really after Thanksgiving. Let's say Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, it gets so boring around here because there's literally nothing going on and nothing happening. But from about April, about Easter, let's say Easter to Thanksgiving, dude, I can't even catch my breath. So things are about to die down around here, but this needs to be home by Thanksgiving at the latest. And I'm still going to work on it and try to get as much as I can, as close as I can by the weekend. But, well, this ain't fighting me to come out of here. It just does not want to come out. So it has definitely slowed progress down. Not stopped it. It's still going. It's obviously in here and it's apart now. So nothing else can get put in front of it because it's in here now in the space. So, Lord willing, Wednesday, this will be out of here, and Thursday, that one will be in there. Then it's just everything on top of it to get it done. So that's a lot of Loctite, and that's just one bolt. There's 3 bolts on each side. If that's the first one, Lord have mercy. Oh, I hope my Impact has enough Ugga Duggles.